I thought, you know what? I'm gonna do it because if you don't try stuff new, you're not gonna find out. And I had pulled it up and it was chest high. And I was like, this is not good. By the time it was going in the bale, I had already changed my mind and said, I'm applying it next year on first cutting because it's crazy. My name is Matt Dyke. We're here in Hillsboro, Oregon. Born and raised on this ground here. Main crops that we grow are sweet corn, field corn for grain and silage, sugar beets for both seed and sugar, wheat, a little bit of clover, and then some alfalfa. There's not a lot of alfalfa grown in Western Oregon just because of the climate. I mean, you see the weather that we're having today, but it was something that I wanted to try. Dad had never tried it, so I tried it just for my own cows, and then seeing the quality that we were able to make here, I ended up getting into the horse market for that. And then it was just something that I guess I researched one day. Is I was more looking at fertilizer blends and wanted to know what nutrients alfalfa really needed, because I was new to the whole thing. My agronomist was not familiar with alfalfa because it wasn't in our area, and so I just started researching stuff online and came across Rhyzogreen, and I was already familiar with the company because of the Riomax tubs. The thing that I noticed right off the bat was the rapid growth. I mean, the very first year that I applied it was after first cutting, because that was by the time I got the product. Ended up applying it, and just the way that the growth took off on it was the big thing that I noticed. Immediately I noticed the leaf. There was way more leaf on the field. It was just more bushy rather than being more stem. And the quality, I mean, all of my horse customers immediately were saying something about, you know, I know that we've been having good weather, but it's your quality, you're doing something right. You know, don't stop what you're doing, because our animals love it. If we can have this crop naturally make its own nutrients, I would much rather have healthier soil going that route than putting synthetics. Obviously, as farmers, we're supposed to be good stewards of the land, and I mean, that's what we like to do. We don't like to just throw stuff out there just to make a buck. At the same time, I want to make sure that the soil's healthy and that the crop's healthy, and that's what I'm seeing with this product. Is definitely, it's a healthier plant. We're not using any fertilizer at all. I mean, I didn't even know what blend to use as far as nitrogen, phosphate, potash, and so I wasn't even putting anything on it, and then just went to using Rhyzogreen. So generally, first cutting would be 3 ton, second cutting would be 1.5 tons, third cutting would be 1 ton, and then if we got a fourth, it'd be about 0.5 ton. And then last year we ended up doing 2.8 on first, 2.8 on second, 2.4, excuse me, on third, and then fourth cutting, I'm pretty sure we did 1.75 tons. So I immediately saw tonnage going up. I think that we had figured 48% increase in the first year, and that's just really what opened my eyes. Was like, this stuff is doing something. We were always throwing on 6 inches of water in between cuttings, between second and third, and then third and fourth. And then after applying the Rhyzogreen, it was more of a by accident, because we were running around with water other places. And so we ended up putting 2 inches of water in between cuttings, and yet we still pulled off a higher tonnage with less water. I mean, it was definitely hotter. And so I thought that we were gonna lose yield because it was hot and the alfalfa was gonna stress, but we didn't see it stress. So this year, again, I was skeptical just putting it on first cutting, just because we already get a rank first cutting and I didn't want it any ranker. And so I thought, you know what, I'm gonna do it, because if you don't try stuff new, you're not gonna find out. And so I put it on back in March when we started Green Up, and immediately I saw it growing, and I was watching it grow, and I thought to myself, I hope that we can make hay early this year, just because it's growing. I mean, I can see that it's working. And by the time we got out there with the cutter, like I said, stuff had lodged. It was laying down as alfalfa does, and I had pulled it up and it was chest high, and I was like, this is not good. It's gonna take us longer to make the hay, and you know, by rolling it an extra 2 or 3 times, that we're gonna lose leaf and everything. And by the time it was going in the bale, I had already changed my mind and said, I'm applying it next year on first cutting, because it's crazy. I mean, just the leaf retention, the healthier plant holding that leaf on, and we were able to make it sooner. I mean, I don't know if that had to pertain with weather, but it's like we made it in 5 days, which typically for us is 7 days to make alfalfa. The stems were, I'm not gonna say that they were smaller, but they stayed at a more consistent, like when I'm used to seeing first cutting rank, it's just a thick stem and stemmy and all fibrous and everything like that, and hardly any leaf on first cutting. And not only that, you rake it the first time and you lose half your leaf, and it wasn't like that. I mean, for whatever reason, the stem was green to the root. I mean, it was all the way down. It didn't get yellow on the bottom of it. It held its leaf 2/3 of the way down. I mean, it was better quality. First cutting, like I said, I'm feeding to my own animals, and they're beef cows, so they're not super picky anyways. If I was able to sell it to horse customers rather than feeding it to myself, I mean, we have plenty of feeder hay that I can feed to myself, so it's not like then I have to find a replacement. So if I could feed it as horse quality, yeah, absolutely. That would be $100 a ton difference if I can sell it as horse quality versus feeding it myself. My philosophy is, as long as you see a return on something, yes, it takes higher cost to get it, but as long as you get that return, that it's worth it. And so Dad was very skeptical last year, and even he made a comment, because we drive by this every day, and he made a comment. He said, you know, what'd you put on there? And I had told him what it is, and he's just like, well, you got to be careful of snake oil and that kind of stuff. And I said, I did my research. It's not snake oil. At least I don't think so. And after he saw it on third cutting, he was really surprised. And then he said, you know, does it only work on alfalfa? I mean, he really got excited about it. He was like, well, you know, we'll start off small scale and we'll try a little bit. But I think that he's a believer. I mean, he saw it in the corn last year. So that's why I was looking at it, is if my alfalfa by itself would pay for my shuttle, that I could experiment on other crops with it. And that's what I ended up doing last year with the corn. We were seeing yellowing in the corn, and we took soil samples and tissue samples, and the corn itself was healthy on paper, but visually it wasn't. I mean, you could see that something was not going on. And so we went in with our post-application herbicide, and I said, you know what, I had a couple extra gallons of the Rhyzogreen. I'm gonna go throw it on there. And so I only had enough to do, I think I did 10 acres, a 10-acre swath, and I flagged it off so that we knew where it was. And within a week, you could see a difference to the line. The corn just greened up. You could tell that it was just a healthier plant. In the combine, as soon as I crossed over that line with the yield monitor, it was an instant bump. And I mean, we saw to the line, and I told Dad, I said, if we were to apply this on corn, we only need, you know, 6 to 8 bushel bump. And when we saw more than a 20 bushel bump, I said, okay, it's covered, it's paid for. Anything past that is just money in our pocket now. If it's a product that I believe in, I'm gonna talk about it. If it really was snake oil, you're not gonna hear me talk about it. I mean, it gets you excited when it works. No, absolutely. I would say that it pays for itself. And I'm a believer in the biology of what it's doing, or I guess the science behind it. I mean, from what I've researched on your guys' website and what I've seen, it makes sense to me of what it's doing. And yeah, it's definitely something that I'm a believer in.